Hello, my friends. Today I'm going to talk about something that's impacting your life, maybe more than you realize. It's something called emotional labor. So in this video, I'm going to dive into what that is, why it's so dangerous when we normalize it, and how it silently infiltrates every part of your life, like your relationships, your career, even your health. I'll also share how to recognize when emotional labor is running your life, give you some practical tips on how to navigate it. So let's dive in, because there's a big conversation to have here about this silent thief, essentially, that's stealing your energy, your time, but also your health. So hello, I'm Kelsey Matheson. I'm a certified life and business coach and a serial entrepreneur, and I help women step into their power and create the lives and the businesses that they dream of. And today I want to talk about something that's affecting so many women, and it's called emotional labor. So if you've ever felt completely drained at the end of the day, even though it doesn't really seem like you did all that much, right? But that exhaustion is there. You're completely burnt out. You're completely spent. Listen, that exhaustion doesn't mean you're lazy. You're like, I didn't really do that much today. Why am I so tired? It doesn't mean you're not being productive. It's most likely emotional labor at work. So what is emotional labor? Let's start with the basics. Emotional labor is the invisible, unpaid effort, usually unrecognized effort of managing emotions. Not just your own, but everyone else's as well. So, for example, it's being the person who always checks in with your loved ones, making sure that everyone's okay, even though that might not be reciprocated. It's also, maybe you're the one to smooth over conflicts. Like, you just want to make sure that everyone's happy, everyone's content, there's no conflicts, there's no issues. You also are the one that keeps life running. You're managing the schedules. You're remembering appointments. You're anticipating everybody's needs. You're the one navigating all of that, keeping all of the plates spinning. And you also might find yourself apologizing. So I'm originally from Canada, and the joke is that in Canada we're, constantly saying we're sorry or sorry, right? But I think that this is also an issue with emotional labor, because you might be apologizing even when it doesn't feel like you need to be, like it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't even feel necessary, but you apologize just because you want to keep the peace. So look, these actions seem small, right? In isolation. And you might be thinking, I don't know, what's the big deal, Kelsey? Like, I'm a nice, considerate, kind, loving, and caring person. So I don't see what the problem is here. And I get that. I mean, I'm a recovering people pleaser myself. But here's the deal. When you're carrying this weight of behaving like this, of acting like this day after day, it crushes you. It weighs you down. It drains your energy. It impacts your health, because you think, even subconsciously, that you are responsible for all of it. And here's the kicker. Most of us don't even see this at work. It's just what we do. It's just who I am, right? That's a part of our identity. So women carry a disproportionate share of emotional labor. Studies show that women spend 2.5 more times managing emotional and mental tasks in relationship more than men. So here's the real problem. Emotional labor feels normal to us. It's become so ingrained in our day-to-day lives that we don't question it. And I know some of you who are listening right now are thinking, I love being that person. There's no problem here. I thrive being that person. It's who I am. And I'm more than happy to take on this role. And that's where the danger lies. The biggest danger of emotional labor is how we normalize it. We normalize how it feels. So from a young age, we are taught as women, explicitly or implicitly, that our value lies in how well we manage the emotions and the needs of others. Society celebrates the selfless woman who keeps everyone happy, anticipates everyone's needs before they're voiced, and never asks for recognition. So according to a 2019 study, in the workplace, women are 48% more likely than men to volunteer for tasks in the workplace that aren't even tied to career advancement, right? Like they'll just show up, they'll volunteer. Maybe it's mentoring coworkers or organizing team events or however they're showing up. But they're taking on this emotional labor at work where it's not acknowledged, it's not advancing their career. And research by the University of Sussex found that societal norms consistently reinforce the expectation that women are the emotional caregivers in the families, in the workplace, and in our communities, which then traps us in these cycles of exhaustion and resentment. So we've been taught to believe that managing other people's emotions is a part of what it means to be a woman, to be a caregiver, to be a good partner, a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter. And it's a responsibility that we are expected to carry out without question. And guess what? We don't stop to question it. And I'm not saying that you can't be a caregiver and that you can't show up for other people. But when we're taking on all of these tasks and we're expected to, and then the emotional labor starts to build up, it is impacting us in really dangerous ways. And here's the thing, not only do we question it, we're buying into it. I mean, how could we not? Right? It's the messaging that we're surrounded by from a very, very young age. And we've seen our grandmothers do it. We've seen our mothers do it. And society tells us to be this way. And we get external validation for showing up this way. Yet, at the end of the day, we're exhausted, we're spent, we're depleted, and we're getting sick. And we're getting sick mentally, emotionally, and physically. I mean, think about it. How many times have you apologized for something that wasn't your fault, or it didn't even really feel like it was relevant, but you did it because you wanted to diffuse the tension? Or how often have you prioritized somebody else's needs over your own, thinking, well, this is the right thing to do. I'm a good person, so this is what I should do. How frequently do you worry about, other people feeling comfortable at the expense of your own comfort? Or how often have you worried about what somebody else might think if you don't do what you think you're, again, supposed to do? This social conditioning becomes so deeply ingrained that we start to view emotional labor as just a part of life. This is just a part of life. But here's the problem. This invisible work doesn't just cost you time. It costs you your health. It costs you your happiness. It costs you your well-being. Another study published in Health Psychology found that chronic stress, specifically from emotional labor, leads to increased cortisol levels, which of course contribute to fatigue and anxiety and a weakened immune system. And women experiencing burnout, specifically from emotional labor, are 2.5 times more likely to be depressed. Suicide rates have gone up for women between ages 45 to 55. And society is not going to stop asking you to do this work. That's the harsh truth. If anything, it will continue to pile more on as long as you keep saying yes. So here's the good news. You can start saying no. You can still take care of your loved ones and be a caregiver if that's what you choose to do. But you could choose to question these norms and set boundaries that protect your time, protect your energy, and protect your overall well-being. And it starts with awareness and action. So when you're constantly managing everyone else's emotions, you don't notice the toll it's taking on your life. But over time, the weight adds up. So here's how it shows up. It shows up in burnout. You're always on, which leaves you exhausted and running on empty. It shows up as resentment. You start to feel frustrated and why doesn't anyone else step up? Why am I always the person to do all the things? It shows up as feeling unseen. feeling undervalued. You're doing so much, but no one seems to notice or appreciate it or care. And it'll also show up as major health issues. Like the stress of emotional labor impacts your physical and mental health, contributing to anxiety. We talked about depression, right? And then it also shows up as chronic illness. Does any of this sound familiar? Because if it does, I want you to know that it's not your fault. It's not something, and it's not your fault. And it's not something that you have to carry alone or continue with. So the reason why I'm so passionate about this topic is because emotional labor doesn't just impact your energy levels. Like it really infiltrates other areas of your life, like your relationships, your career, your health, as we've talked about, your happiness. Because you're so busy meeting everyone else's needs, like you lose sight of your own needs, right? Like I said, you feel disconnected, you feel resentful. It's constantly taking a physical toll. There's fatigue, anxiety, burnout, and that becomes the norm. You're always giving, so you leave very little room for your own joy, your own passions, or your own growth. So how do you start to untangle yourself from this? How do you start to distance yourself from emotional labor? So the first step is recognition. Just ask yourself, are you always the one keeping the peace? Do you feel responsible for everyone else's needs or emotions or happiness? Are you constantly giving but rarely receiving? Because once you've identified where emotional labor is showing up for you, there are 3 steps to help you navigate it. So number 1, I want you to set boundaries and just start small. But learn to say no. It will 100% feel uncomfortable at first. But boundaries are there to protect you. They're there to protect your energy. And you'll find that once you start to set certain boundaries, you'll notice that others start to step up. Number 2 is delegate. Stop trying to do it all because you can't. Share responsibilities, even if it feels messy or imperfect at first, right? Whoever you delegate to, they might not do it exactly the way you do, but who cares? Well, I know your brain cares. I know your brain is going to be like, that's not how I would do it. But this is about training your brain, my friend. Okay. The world will not end if you delegate a task and it's not done exactly how you would do it. Just let it go and prioritize yourself. That's number 3. Make time for you. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's going on a yoga retreat. Maybe it's just taking a walk. Maybe it's sitting in silence with your tea, or listening to some music by yourself, or working with a coach. Right? These are small changes that can make a huge difference. But here's the thing. True transformation requires deeper work, especially with emotional labor, because it's so ingrained. So if you really want to break free from emotional labor and reclaim your time and your energy and create a life that feels as good as it looks, but you're thinking, I don't know where to even start, Kelsey. I love that idea, but where do I begin? Then I would love to work with you. Through my one-on-one coaching, we'll dive into identifying how emotional labor is showing up in your life. We'll talk about building confidence and how to set boundaries that work for you. We'll talk about reclaiming your energy and creating space for your interests and your passions, and transforming your mindset to break free from the overwhelm, and really step into your power. And right now I have 2 one-on-one spots open. So for a limited time, I'm offering 20% off my one-on-one rate to clients who book now, and kind of as a Black Friday special, I'm offering 5 additional bonuses. They're like toolkits and workbooks and these really cool programs that will work on transforming your mindset, building confidence, breaking through self-doubt, achieving your goals, and creating lasting habits for growth. So if this resonates with you, I would love to work with you. Just click on the link in the description to schedule a free consultation. Or if you're like, Kelsey, this is exactly what I need, and I don't want to miss out on these spots. I want to grab one of these spots before they're gone. There's a link below that will take you directly to sign up today. And we literally could start working together next week or in a matter of days. So imagine what your life could look like without the weight of emotional labor. Let's make that vision a reality. Let's make 2025 the year you step into more empowerment, and you're healthier and you're happier, and you proudly step into that version of yourself. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please please share this with some other women who really need to hear this. Please subscribe for more conversations about creating a life that feels lighter and freer and more aligned. You don't have to carry the invisible load alone anymore, my friend. Let's make 2025 a transformational year. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.